Guys, Asher coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. We do this video once a year. The top 100 champions in Raid Shadow Legends.
Come with me if you want to live.
Obviously, there's a lot of good champions in Raid Shadow Legends, but these are my personal choices for the top 100. A video like this, as much as I love ranking champions, you might have noticed, you might not have, you might not care, but I started doing all my ranking videos as of the beginning of this year in order, so like 100 all the way to 1, but when we're just ranking this many champions or listing this many champions, it really does depend exactly on what you need. It's easy to do that on like nukers or something like that, but it's very difficult to compare apples and oranges with revivers and healers and cleansers and debuffers and nukers and blah, 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 blah. With that being said, we're going to go faction by faction. I have 100 champions picked out for you guys. You let me know if I snub your favorite champion in the comments below. Let me have it, guys. Let me have it. So let's go ahead and get things started here with Marichka. Marichka, champion number 1 in no particular order, but of course she's one of the best healers in the game. She has the 40% of this champion's max HP on a 3-turn cooldown with the protected strengthen. She got the cleanse. She's got the revive everybody when she dies. The block damage. I mean, she's absolutely incredible. 24 speed in all battles is like a 6-way tie for the best in the game there for all battle auras as well. Speed auras, that is. Yeah, we love Marichka. You can use her in Hydra, use her in any dungeon, use her of course in the arena as well, with or without Taurus. Next up, Taurus, right? Taurus. An arena god, can do damage basically anywhere. Also has a 2-turn stun in his kit. I don't have him, but boy, if I did, I would be excited. There we go. Wow. I'm sure everybody feels the same way, unless you lucky son of a jackal, you actually have him. If so, I'm jealous. Color me jealous.
My mother always said, be careful what you wish for, because you'll get it. And then people get jealous and try and take it away from you.
I don't think that's how that goes.
I don't know if he's the best HP champion in the game, because he's not the best in PvE, but certainly for PvP, Taurus is the man. Baron. Talk about attack-based nukers in this game. Baron is creme de la creme. He is the top of he's on the Mount Washington of attack-based nukers. Let's put it that way. He's got the Sky Piercer, ignoring shield, block damage, and 50% of defense. It's no longer a secret skill. It's right straight up on a cooldown. Moreover, he's bringing decreased defense for bosses. It's great. The debuff is guaranteed. You love to see that. And then that trample, that surplus damage, makes him just really one of the better kind of farming champions, especially for kind of lower levels of Doom Tower. Normal if you do have him. I run Baron and Trunda kind of as a dynamic duo all the way through Doom Tower normal without switching to anybody else. So anyway, Baron is amazing. Of course, his most frequent use case would be inside the arena, ignoring shield, block damage, and 50% of defense, plus Savage Lethal, plus Helm Smasher. That gives you 100% ignore defense potential, which is amazing. All right, next up, guys, is going to be Quintus. Quintus, a Triumphant. Only a few players have him at the time of this recording.
Man, you just gotta have the good vibes, you know?
Hi.
I love you.
What the f?
Well, again, 3 ratings here. It's hard to look into that too much, right? But he is an amazing arena nuker. His multipliers are amazing. Even though I don't have him, he's bringing an increased attack, increased crit damage on this champion before attacking on an AoE, on crowd favorite. Really, really, really good nuker. Definitely worthy of the prize for live arena farming. Okay, next up is going to be, we're going to take a little trip. Actually, there's one more legendary here, and it's Stultus Dragonbane, okay? I have 7 of my top 100 champions are in the Bannerlords. It's a pretty dang good faction. It's a pretty good one. Not as good as, spoiler alert, I want to say, yeah, Demons. Now, Undead Horde is going to be the faction that I have the most champions in overall. Anyway, little teaser for later on in the video for you guys. We have an AoE with a stun, right? On each hit, 65% chance on a 3-turn cooldown. That's amazing. Great for waves anywhere. Good for the arena. He's a defense-based nuker who's bringing increased defense. That makes him fantastic. He's really, you know, up there in terms of the best defensive-based nukers for the arena inside the game. Moreover, he's amazing against the dragon. He's deflecting weaken, decreased defense, and poison poisons back onto the attacker. All those poisons, he just throws them right back at the dragon. He's a part of really almost anybody who has this dude. I'm imagining you probably definitely run him on your best dragon team. All right, moving on to the epics, guys. There's actually a couple here in terms of epic champions that I think are top 100 champions in the game, starting with Archmage Helmet, the first champion that you get from Doom Tower normal. He's got an AoE stun as well. Not too bad. He's got an 75% chance, and then after attacking, decrease turn meters of enemies without stun. It's great for, you know, bosses that aren't able to be stunned, but they can have that turn meter decrease too, right? On the A1, he's filling turn meter as well, and then he's got increased speed, increased crit rate, and increased crit damage, all on the same ability on a 3-turn cooldown. Immune to turn meter decreasing effects as well. Speed in arena battles, okay, but hey, base stats too, really good on Archmage as well. He wouldn't be, you know, he'd probably be like somewhere in the 90s, to be fair, somewhere in the 80s or 90s if I was going to rank these champions, but I still think he does belong there. Next up is Stag Knight. Oh, Staggy.
I am a surgeon! I am a surgeon! I am a surgeon! I am a surgeon!
Okay, sorry.
He's got an AoE with decreased defense and decreased attack on the same ability, right? I mean, it's a money ability. He's got decreased speed, big version on the A1 as well. 3 of the most essential debuffs in the game. He's got them all, right? 107 base speed with a lot of HP as well. You gotta love it. And then Ursula. Did I just say I had 2? I have 3. Ursula the Mourner, guys. I mean, I had to include her in the top 100 champions because her revival, Requiem, 75% HP, turn meter by 50%, increased defense, and strengthen on everybody for 3 turns is really... I want to make sure I mean this before I say it, but I think I mean it, man. I really do. I want to say it's arguably a top 3 revive inside the entire game, including every legendary in the game. That's how good this is, right? So I have to include her in the list. All right, high elf time, guys. We got Arbiter. I mean, she's still got it. After all these years, we've still got the magic Arbiter. She got the increased attack, the turn meter fill, and the heal. Turn meter fill, increased attack. What better way to set up your arena team? She's also got the speed in arena battles. She got the revival with the extra turn on the AoE, and then she got the AoE decreasing duration of enemy buffs. Obviously, you can use her in other areas as well. Hydra, well, I mean, you can almost use her anywhere, right? Depending on how you build her. Of course, most seen in the arena as a speed or a lead. Ethos! Oh, Ethos. I still got him in my top 100. Maybe a little bit of power creep because they're just introducing a ton of nukers in this game. It seems like every, 3 or 4 months we get another, wow, that's a really good damage dealer there. Ethos used more often as just a DPS for wave content in the game. Can still do damage against bosses. They buffed him to the big version of Weaken on the A2. He's got Extinguished Life that does a ton of damage and is always critical, which is nice. Then he has an extra turn chance on the A1. So Ethos, I still have him in my personal top 100. What about you guys? We have Lysandra, the Queen of Speed. She's got a 24 speed aura battle. We talked about it with Marichka, one of the best in the game. She's got the increased speed, turn meter fill 30%, turn meter depletion 30% for the enemies, all on the same ability. She's got a fully depletion of targets, turn meters, anywhere where you want turn meter manipulation. We can talk about the arena with this great opening move. We can talk about Dark Fae, really one of the best Dark Fae champions in the game, starting out with Energize and then going in with Exhaustion after that. Just a really, really good champion, great for Fire Knight as well, even with a one-hitter on the A1 ability. All right, I actually put Tatura Rhymehide. Tatura, I think we can kind of forget about this
lion,
high elf thing, creature,
lion,
dog,
lion,
whatever. Really good kid, really good champion. A lot of defense-based champion, and actually can deal some damage too for a defense-based champion on this AoE attack on the A3. A perfect veiled and a shield. And then we have did I say veiled? I said a perfect veiled in a shield. Learn how to talk, Ash. Block debuffs and increased defense, both for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown with the perfect veil and the shield, and some damage. Decrease accuracy on the A1, and then the freeze debuff on the attacker when hit, along with the reflected damage. It's just a really, really, really strong kit. Good, pretty much anywhere, right? Especially good in Hydra, in my opinion, or anywhere in progression in this game. So Tatura does make the list. All right, next up is going to be, I'm including including Eleanor on my list. I don't think that she, if you look at other tier lists out there, because I kind of double checked my work, make sure I wasn't forgetting any super obvious champion. I don't think any tier list that I looked at had Eleanor in the top 100. Well, I do. Combust, man. I mean, deals damage from all poison debuffs to all enemies instantly with no damage penalty on that. To me, it's really, next to Seer's Karma Burn, it's really the motor of speed farming for basically anybody who has Eleanor, right? Poison combust teams are really nasty, they're really fun, and Eleanor to me is just the best, right, in terms of a combustor there, with all due respect to Xavier and the others out there, and Theodore, right? But I love that ability. She also has the AoE poison for 2 turns, another poison as well if the attack is critical, so just a really, really strong kit. You guys let me know if you agree or disagree with me on Eleanor. All right, so we have we have only one of the epics made the list. Man, Skaramis is right there for me, but it's tough. And I actually like Ethelyn a lot too, but we gave it to Royal Guard. Royal Guard's still the king of the enemy max HP abilities for epic champions in the game, does more damage than any other epic AoE enemy max HP ability. What can I say? Takedown. But Hamstring, really good too. He's got decreased speed, he's got turn meter manipulation. Each hit chance of a 75% chance of decreasing target's turn meter by 25%. That's like a little mini allure ability. I say mini because on a 4-turn cooldown on the A3, not the A1, but that's a really, really good control ability on top of an already really, really nice kit. All right, moving on to Sacred Order here, guys. We have Cardiel. What can I say? Just one of the best support champions in the game. I think he's a top 20 champion inside the entire game. You could argue top 10. Heck, some of you could argue top 5. He's got the ally attack with increased crit damage and increased crit rate, which really, really, really just gets the most damage, obviously, and mitigates the penalty that we get already, the damage penalty on ally attacks with the increased crit rate and the increased crit damage especially. Not to mention Angel Song, man, the block debuffs, the revive on death, and the revive on death cannot be removed. I mean, he's like, he carries my Fire Knight hard team. He's so popular inside the arena. You can really use this dude against pretty much every Doom Tower boss, you know, especially like Eternal Dragon and Griffin, all the ally attack bosses out there in the game. He's really just an incredible all-around champion. Hydra, I mean, you name it. You can use this dude absolutely everywhere. I use him in my my Shogun, my Phantom Shogun team as well. So yeah, Cardiel is amazing. Cupidus, he makes the list. I mean, he's fast. He deals a ton of damage. AoE on the A1, AoE on the A2 with a burn, right? And then a very hard-hitting A3 on top of that. Increased attack he's bringing to himself as well. Kind of like what we talked about with Stalthus. He's bringing the buff that makes him do more damage. We love to see that out of Nukers, obviously. And then when Venus is on the same team, forget about it. He's just one of the top damage dealers out there in the game. I'm talking Arena, I'm talking Hydra, I'm talking really anywhere else in the game in terms of damage because he's always a counterattacking when he's attacked. Really, really good stuff there. Also has attack in all battles by 33%. So he does make the list. I also have, obviously, Venus on the list. Venus is incredible. Some people say that Venus has been power crept. I don't understand, you guys. With all due respect, I don't understand at all. How can you say this kit is anything but just insanely good? My opinion! And if you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. Give me your best argument for why she's been power crept. She actually pops up. If you like look for YouTube search power crept champions inside Raid, Venus is on a lot of lists, and I don't understand why. A boatload of HP, 112 base speed as well, AoE decreased defense and weaken, decent damage as well. You want more damage? How about an AoE HP burn, 100% land rate? And then, again, with Cupidus on the same team, she's got a buff removal and an extra turn chance at 50%. Just incredible damage dealer and debuffer. You know, you like damage, you like debuffs, she's got the best kit, or one of the best in terms of those. I would say, like, probably right behind Lydia, you know? Okay. Who else we got next here? I want to make sure. Okay, we have 2 more legendaries. We have Archbishop Pinthroy. Listen, I'm an unabashed, massive fan of Archbishop Pinthroy. I do think he's underrated. I know that some people are going to head scratch at this one being on the list, perhaps. But I love this dude. I absolutely love him, man. He's got an AoE heal, 30%, not bad. They're max HP. It's a good heal. Increased defense, and then a shield, okay? And then he's got increased accuracy on everybody. Block buffs on all the enemies on a 3-turn cooldown. I mean, He's just one of my favorite Hydra clan boss champions, really. He's stealing random buffs from the target on the A1. It's a nice to have. It's a nice to have, you know? And then he's removing decreased defense and weakened from him at the start of every turn. He cannot be weakened and decreased defense when you go into a turn on Archbishop Pinthroy. He would be towards the bottom, to be fair, of the top 100, but I do think he belongs there. And then Martyr. Martyr is criminally slow. She needs a buff to her speed. She really does. Great kit, but she needs a buff to that speed. She has been power crept to an extent because back in the day, there was no ally attack in this game. There was only 3 champions in the counterattack, just like there still is only 3 champions. And she was one of them. But now there's a bunch of ally attackers. There's a bunch of provokers out there in the game as well. She has a provoke on a 4-turn cooldown with a decreased attack. She has an increased defense and a counterattack on a 3-turn cooldown. And she has a great defense in all battles by 33%. A lot of defense. She's still a top 100 champion in my opinion. But boy, oh boy, oh boy, I'd love to see this brought down to a 3-turn or that speed brought up a little bit. Just because, yeah, she's still amazing. So why does she need a buff, Ash? I don't get it. Well, because I think that some champions that used to, like, when I started playing this game, guys, on tier lists, I vividly remember Martyr being like interchangeable, ranked #1 champion in the game. It was like Battle Khazar, Valkyrie, and Martyr. Those 3 champions. That was it. Like that. And now, you know, she's fallen off a little bit, but I remember, and maybe it's the nostalgia. I miss the days when she was a top champion in the game. Anyway, Godseeker Aniri, she's great though. Godseeker Aniri is on the list, of course. She's a very, 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 very legendary-esque epic champion. If she was a legendary, she'd still be considered one of the best legendaries in the game, in my opinion. She has a revive here with a turn meter fill and resetting the cooldown of their skills. It's amazing. It's a motor that makes Sand Devil teams work. She has a break in case of emergency, revive on her passive as well. And then she has an AoE, increased duration of buffs, increase the duration of debuff, decrease debuffs. Unacceptable! Decrease buffs on enemies, increase buffs on allies. There we go, with a great heal too. She just has it all. I absolutely love Godseeker Aniri. Listen, I love Inquisitor, but just didn't make the list. Can only have so many champions. A lot of good champions in the game, but Deke did. Deke is amazing. Again, great champion for really everywhere, to be fair, but especially like I think of Dark Fae in terms of like where he really, really shines. Going in with the turn meter field, the turn meter depletion, kind of like a mini Lysandra ability, but he's got the extra turn. He doesn't have the increased speed, but he has the extra turn. He goes in, AoE decreased defense, has a leech on the A1 as well, speed in all battles on the aura, so Deke does make the list. That is Sacred Order, guys. Moving over to the Barbarians. We have my girls, the Drakes!
After zero consideration, I'm happy to say hard pass.
Of course, she's still on the list, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, Scylla's just like the best, the GOAT of mid-game carries inside Raid. She's got a stun, a really nice stun ability, 35, but it's a 2-time hitter. She's got a decreased speed on the A1, also decreased turn meter by 15%. Great control there. She's got the revival, and she got the random increased speeds that she's handing out like Oprah. Look under your seat, increased speed for you, and you, and you. And then, of course, she got the heal every single turn. You love it, man. She really does have a really solid kit. You can kind of, she's free, and she's been around for a few years. You can kind of take her for granted, but she's still, to me, valid of a top 100 argument. Tawana Rock, of course, the debuff spread with the block buffs. She got the increased defense, the increased speed. She got the decreased speed on the A1. I mean, so much going on here. Really one of my favorite SSSSS tier Hydra clan boss champions in the game, removing a buff from all allies at the start of each turn, and then 2 if they're under continuous heal, which she does have on her A1 as well. Just an absolutely monster of a champion. Definitely one of my personal faves out there. All right, I actually put Turvold on my top 100. Single target nukers, and I say that like as if it's a surprise, because I usually am not all about the single target nukers. There's not going to be a lot. I can only think of 2 on my list. There might be a couple more, but I can only think of 2 off the top of my head. Turvold's one of them, man. I did a video on Turvold. I forgot. I think the name of the video might be like I replaced Rhodos or something like that. even though I didn't really, maybe a little clickbaity there. I didn't replace Rotos, but I started using Turvold more than Rotos, just because he smacks so hard in the arena, but really anywhere else. My favorite place to use Turvold are like against Eternal Dragon and in Griffin, because he has a very hard-hitting A1 with a big version of Weaken on ally attack teams, so he's just always going in there. But of course, Arena, for me personally, is my favorite, right? He can just crush anybody with this Juggernaut ability, and he brings all his own buffs to the table as well. Amazing for clan boss, old school Demon Lord for damage there as well. We mentioned her earlier, but of course Valkyrie's on the list. A great shield, counterattack, a ton of defense, and of course the jealousy passive. It makes her incredible for the arena, cutting in line with this annoying jealousy when you're going against it. She's fantastic for Fire Knight with the counterattack, of course, as well. Really love Valkyrie. Of course, she's amazing for clan boss as well. All right, next up, guys. Okay, Syl, Tuwanarok, Turvold, Valkyrie, and then maybe, call me crazy if you want to. I've been saying this for a long time, but Contra the Cyclone is on my list. I just am such a huge fan of this champion. A ton of defense, every debuff known to man on a triple AoE attack, and then just one of the strongest passives out there. My personal second favorite Hydra provoker in the game behind Molly Tankard, and she can land all of her debuffs on weak hits as well. She's got that provoke there, she's got heals, she's got a decent amount of damage with the triple hitter. I absolutely love her in a reflex set. One of my favorite Hydra champions in the game. So I do put her, again, towards the bottom, but I put her on there even over champions who are also really good, like Alsgor and Ursuga. Just barely did not make the list. Yeah, Carl did barely, did not make the list. You know who did? Again, maybe I have a soft spot for this dude, but I was actually, I was typing out my entire list, which I'm looking at off screen right now, and I was in like the 90s, and I was looking for some epics who I really love, and I think that maybe are a little underrated. Not to say that Fat Man's underrated, but I'm like, yeah, Fat Man does belong on the list in my opinion. He's got the increased crit damage, increased crit rate a la Cardio, right? Really one of the better ally attackers inside the game. He's also bringing some damage with a poison and a burn, and he's got a decreased defense on his A1, right? So I just love Farrakhan the Fat. I think he's one of the coolest epics released inside this game in recent memory, because we really needed a super strong, kind of like an A or S tier ally attacker, and I think that Fat Man's got it. All right, moving on to Ogre and Tribe, guys. We got, of course, Grazur Iron Gut, arguably a top 5 champion inside the entire game. Defense in all battles. Whenever this champion's attacked, he's healing everybody by 70%. He's got a little Vogoth going on. He's got a little bit of Leo or Skullcrown going on with the Unkillable. He's got an AoE Provoke. He's got increased resistance, increased defense on all allies on a 3-turn cooldown. He's got an AoE heal. He's got increased duration of all buffs. He's got an AoE on the A1 with a shield on everybody. I don't know. He's very close to a Krisk type champion, in my opinion. All right, next up is going to be Koragar, Deathbell, very good champion, exceptionally good champion. We have an AoE, we have a turn meter fail, 30% on a 3-turn cooldown, and removing all buffs from all allies. Dude, what a great ability. The turn meter fill with the cleanse, you gotta love it. And then it just keeps getting better and better. One of the best damage mitigating abilities inside the entire game is this A3. 50% damage mitigation on Ally Protect and 25% damage mitigation on Strengthen. That means that all your allies are going to be receiving straight up 75% less damage when this dude's on the team, when this buff is up. That's incredible. Also has a really good passive that we won't read out right now, but Koragar definitely makes the list. All right, guys. Really close on Ignatius, but well, we'll talk about him later on, but didn't make the list. All right, next up, you know who did, though? Maneater still got it. I mean, he's still one of the quintessential unkillable champions, still instrumental to so many unkillable clan boss teams inside the game. We love Maneater. I think he's champion number 31 on the list here, if I'm counting correctly. We also have a full turn meter depletion and a decreased attack on everybody, provided the attack is critical. Great for PvE content as well. You know who I included on the list, guys? My boy, Skrank. He's really close.
Why then?
Really, really, really close to the list. He's my favorite epic burner. I use him so much on the mini account. He's my spider god, right? He's got the burn on the 3-turn cooldown. He's void, so affinity doesn't matter. And that's why I switched from Mordecai to Skrank. It's just nice to not have to worry about affinity as I'm in progression mode, right? We also have the buffs for every HP burn on every enemy, which is great. We also have Ugo still on the list. She's got the decreased defense and the block buffs on the same ability. She's got a removing heal reduction, which is okay, and then remove another debuff, which is good, and then a great heal, 20% of this champion's max HP. This is a very, very good support ability, and of course, bringing, block buffs and decreased defense, amazing for obviously Hydra Clan Boss, but really an amazing debuffer for pretty much anywhere in the game. All right, that's it, guys. That's all I have for Ogre and Tribe. Moving on to Lizardman, and of course, we have Krisk. I mean, Krisk, as I said, I kind of feel the same kind of feeling reading his kit as I do for Grazer Iron Gut, right? An AoE decreased speed, another top 5 champion in the game, in my opinion. An AoE ally protection, a continuous heal on himself, increased duration of all ally buffs, all on a 3-turn cooldown, a provoke, an increased defense, an increased speed on all allies, increased defense on himself, provoke on all enemies. And then he's got the shield at the start of each turn, decreased defense and decreased attack every time he's attacked. That's bonkers, man. So he's bringing a dependable decrease attack, decrease defense, big version, a shield on everybody, a provoke on everybody, or on enemies, a increased speed on everybody, I mean, like, God! This guy's insanely good. Insanely good. Pythion, personally one of my favorite fusions of the last year, has a cleanse, has a heal, a block debuffs. This is the ultimate cleanse ability, right? And fantastic in the arena, fantastic for Hydra, fantastic anywhere that you need a great cleanser, right? We have an AoE revive with the strengthen on all allies as well. This is on a 4-turn cooldown, not bad at all for an AoE revive when booked. And then we have a healed ally with the lowest HP and that beautiful damage mitigation on that passive. You guys know how much we love those damage mitigation passives. We'll talk more about that later on in the video. I'm sure you guys can guess. We do have a controversial choice here, so stay tuned on this faction. Next up, we have Dracomorph. He's still got it. Another champion that a lot of people say have been power crept a bit, and he has a bit. But he's still got decreased defense and weaken. He's still got tons of poisons, and he still has a great damage dealing A1 ability, even despite the nerf. So I think that Dracomorph is still easily top 100 champion in the game. And you guys know my love for the bug. My love for the bug is Nekmothar, dude. This guy is... He's just one of my faves, man. He's one of my faves. He is like one of the best Hydra Clan Boss champions in the game. For my money, he's probably... Who would I rather have than Nekmothar if I was just going to draft champions for Hydra Clan Boss? Akrisia. And maybe Michinaki, and that's probably it. Anyway, we have a increased speed and a turn meter fill by 30%, extra turn, go into an AoE, decrease speed, leech 3-turn cooldown, another AoE, decrease attack, and champion's turn meter by 5% each time a debuff on an enemy is removed, transferred, or expires. His turn meter is insane. He never stops going. He is one of my favorite champs. We have Ramen 2 Drake's Blood. Of course, incredible champion, very annoying, very good in the arena, especially Eternal Dragon, block active skills, block passive skills on an AoE. Nobody has an ability like this in the game. Very good. And then he has every debuff known to man here on a 4-time hitter with some damage too on Drake's Fury ability. Very, very good. Very, very good a champion. We have a brand new champion that I have on my list, but he's not in the game yet. Shout out to Sulfurian. We can't go over his kit because he's not in the game yet, but I do have him on my list. Once he's added, which is probably by the time this video goes live, shout out, he's on the list.
You don't even know me.
Shagor! Of course I love Shagor, man. Who doesn't love Shagor? I was surprised at how low he was ranked on the 3-tier list that I checked out before today's video. I rank him a lot higher. He wasn't in the top 100. AoE ×2. Poison for 4 turns, decreased defense for 3 turns. I mentioned this before recently, but there's some magic in that ability. A 4-turn poison on a 3-turn cooldown plus a 3-turn decreased defense allows him to keep decreased defense and poison up at all times on all enemies. you know? That's really special. It's really good. He has a great A3, but his constant agony instantly attacks enemies with a default skill whenever they receive damage from poison debuffs placed by this champion. He's great for Doom Tower waves. He's great for a debuffer anywhere. He's Void Affinity, right? Fantastic. He has enough defense to kind of keep this dude alive, even despite the lack of HP as well. He's great for Hydra Clan Boss. He has a sleep debuff on the A1. You can have some utility in Sand Devil as well because of all these constant attacks with his A1 that leads to more sleeps. So very, very, very good champion. Here we go, guys. Champion number 42 on the list. Controversial time. Vergamkar. Yep, that's right. The big slug dog. Listen, man. No one's going to agree with me. This dude was not even in the top 200 of any list that I looked at. But after his buff, I just think that, I've mentioned this before on the channel, but I think that some people sleep on champions after they get a pretty big buff. And that's the case with Vergamkar for me. Name another champion in the game that has a kit like this. Remove provokes, removes another random debuff from all allies, increased defense on all allies, a shield on all allies based on his max HP and a 3-turn cooldown. And then he's attacking all enemies, removing a random buff from each enemy, 100% to remove 2 random buffs from each enemy, which is usually all you need, depending on where you are, but most of the time. And then we're placing a heal reduction and a decreased defense, big versions, all on a 3-turn cooldown. So a man has removing 2 buffs from enemies, a decreased defense, a heal reduction, a provoke removal, another random debuff removal, increased defense on all allies, a shield on all allies. He's immune to provoke. He's filling his turn meter every time you attempt to provoke him. Man, I think that was a great buff to this champion. He's not a top 50 champion in my opinion, but I do think he is a top 100 now. All right, Skinwalker time, guys. A Kemptum. Dude. Top 10 epic in the game, in my opinion. He's got speed in all battles. He's got a 100% chance of inflicting damage from a poison debuff to enemies under hex whenever their allies receive damage from a poison. Let me repeat that. Whenever anybody receives damage from a, excuse me. Whenever anybody receives damage from a poison, right, that's under hex, he's instantly activating, right? It's inflicting damage from 1 poison debuff to enemies under hex debuff whenever their allies receive damage from poison debuffs. Man, that was convoluted. Can you fix that, editor?
Come on, my man. You gotta stop this, right? Come on.
Triple hitter on the A2, Immortal Malaysian. Great ability. Each hit has a 75% chance of placing or increasing the duration of hex debuffs. If they're not under hex debuffs, then you got the 75% chance of placing the hex debuff. And then a triple hitter with poison on the A1 and a debuff spread, dude. That's a beautiful synergy in this kit. It's like magic. We absolutely love them. All right, going over to Nishak. Where are you, Nishak? There you are. The Christmas Fusion. Man, this guy is so good, dude. He's got the extra bomb damage, which is amazing. Double damage against bosses. He's got the extra turn mechanic, 2 bombs. He's got the AoE decrease attack. He's decreasing the detonation of said bombs and increasing the duration of poisons. After you go the A3, you go in with the A2. It's a massive damage potential. And then every time a bomb debuff placed on this champion detonates or removed, places 2 poisons that are protected instead. This dude is insane for Dragon. He's absolutely insane. You can have like the 1-shot kill for Bommel. Great for Hydra. Just a really fun champion. I've actually seen some people use him in, and by the way, great for Bommel because he has the bomb on the A1. Jeez, that's good stuff, man. Good stuff. I'm seeing people use him in Arena a little bit more too, which is kind of interesting. Leo, where are you, Leo? Oh, one of my favorite attack-based nukers in the game. He's got a ×2 hit, but more importantly, he's immune to everything. You can't stun him, you can't freeze him, you can't get a sleep on a Kaimar or anything like that. You can't you can't do anything to the dude as long as his ability is not on cooldown, which is good because he opens up with his A3 anyway. 100% True Fear, and then before attacking, he's placing the big version of Weaken. And then he's dealing a ton of damage, and he deals a ton of damage on his A1 as well. Man, Leo is so freaking good. Mighty Uko is next up. Fast champion. I want to start with the passive because everybody always forgets about the passive until they go against Mighty Uko, and they're like, oh yeah, that stupid passive. Really good, man. 50% chance of stealing a random buff from an enemy each time it's placed on them. No cooldown, and is protected. Oh my god. He's got the revive, he's got the increased speed, he's got the AoE, ×2 hit, each hit removing 2 buffs, so 4 buff removal, if my math is correct there, 2 + 2?
5.
And then we have the block buffs and the decrease accuracy if they don't have buffs after the attack, which they normally don't. Throw them in a stun set, you can wreak havoc inside the arena. AoE decrease attack on the A1. Next up is going to be Ragash. Criminal how good this champion is. Like, this dude being introduced to the game, in my opinion, he like power crept everybody. it's like AoE power creep on every champion in the game. They broke the mold. He's got an increased defense that he's bringing to the table, which is great because he's a defense-based champion. What is my hair? Why? What am I doing here? Am I like alfalfa? What is going on with this thing? I digress. An AoE decreased defense with a stun and a ton of damage. 3-turn cooldown, 100% stun. 100% stun on a 3-turn cooldown with a decreased defense with a massive nuke. That is ridiculously strong. And no ability anywhere near this strong in the game in terms of CC mixed with a debuff and damage. He also has a strengthened increased speed and a perfect veil on himself on the A3. What? Start of each turn plays a perfect veil for 1 turn on the ally with the highest attack. Whoever needs it the most. Inflicts 20% more damage on targets whose defense is lower than this champion's defense, which is easy to do, 1443, and defense in all battles by 30%. Ragash is insanely good. Tamisha! Oh man, what a great freaking champion she is. Definitely belongs there on the list in my opinion. Has extra damage for every HP burn, but really it's all about this cunning chaos, right? It's a 3-turn cooldown. We get an HP burn for 3 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. You love it. And then 100% chance to place a stun for 1 turn on targets with more than 50% turn meter. Otherwise, decreased speed. That's a great control mixed with burn, mixed with damage. Very, very good ability. Amazing for Spider. Great for Hydra. Great for Doom Tower floors and waves. Great for anybody susceptible to a burn. Love that champion. Next up, Snick Track. There's a lot of good Skinwalkers, man, huh? I don't have Snick Track, but boy, do I want this dude. He's a really cool... What is he, a badger? What does he look like? What kind of animal is he? I don't know. He reminds me of like a badger. I don't know why. I guess he's a skinwalker, Ash. But what kind of animal?
How about this?
AoE decrease speed with a shield. Okay? Ally protect, reflect damage, and then a 50% heal on a 3-turn cooldown. And then whenever an ally under those reflect damage is attacked, plays a leech on the attacker. And then increase the damage, the amount of damage that Reflect deals by 20%, right? Reflect's 50% that he receives back to the attacker. Very cool champion, has a decreased attack on the A1 as well. There's more to the kit there, but I'm trying to move this video along, right? I did not go for the Razzlevarg fusion, but I regret it, man. Hair Force 1! Great clan boss champion. I really want to make that team. Check out Deadwood Jedi. He has plenty of videos on this champion. So does, I'm sure, every content creator, but I've watched a few from Deadwood. I've watched a few from Saf on the Hades Gaming Network as well, if you're interested. Good stuff. He's got a triple hitter on the A1. He's got an AoE leech on the A2. He's got an AoE increased speed, increased accuracy on all allies before attacking. Good ability here on a 3-turn cooldown. And then each increased speed buff placed by this champion increases this champion's speed by 5. Stacks up to 100. That's insane. Speed in all battles by 20% as well. Kind of a cool look on this little bunny too. I like Razzle. I wish I went. He's a big regret for me, guys. A big regret. I think I was traveling that weekend. I know it's excuses, but you know, it is what it is. Warlord, champion number 50 on the list. And AoE, I mean, you know Warlord. Probably he and Yumeko are probably 2 of the most feared, used, and quintessential and banned champions in live arena or any arena. But really, he's great for control everywhere. He's got turn meter, full turn meter depletion, 60% chance. That's just insane in itself, right? On top of that, he's got the block debuffs, he's got the shield, and he's got the heal here. Really good stuff. This is on a 3-turn cooldown, right? So great support champion on top of everything else. Of course, Artak's gonna make the list. I mean, I love this champion. I ranked him as really number 1, I think, or close to number 1 on the best HP champions in the game. In AoE, placing the burn, and then activating the burn, right? Also has a decreased attack. Another AoE with extending the burn. So he's placing, activating, and extending. What more do you want from a burn champion? Seriously. Our attack, very, 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 very good. All right, next up is going to be Seer. We talked about her earlier, but of course, Karma Burn, man. What an insane ability. She is the queen. She's the queen of all speedruns in RSL. I absolutely love her. Heck, man, I even see some, like, I'm not too proud or embarrassed to admit, on my mini account, I saw a Seer arena team, and I'm like, oh, you silly. Seer's not an arena champion. And then she smoked me. She removed all my buffs and murdered my team. Really sneaky good against Go Second teams because of all those buffs against those Siffies and stuff out there, provided she has enough accuracy to pull it off. But yeah, of course, Karma Burn on speed runs, setting her up with like a Mausoleum Mage and Archmage helmet or anybody with a bunch of buffs is what she's known for, rightfully so. So we love Seer. I actually do have the only Supreme that I have on the list is Supreme Galek. He's got a increased duration of HP burn on the A1, a 4-turn at random, or 4-time at random, which I kind of hate, but against bosses, not bad at all. We're filling turn meter. We're extra chance to inflict a critical hit. We have instant activation on burns. A lot going on here on the A2. On the A3 and AoE, and then we're placing the burn and block buffs for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown and decreased speed on high turn meter targets, all on a 3-turn cooldown. Really, really good champion for Hydra Clan Boss especially. I really want to get it's funny, I have all other Supreme champions. The only one I actually want is Supreme Galek. So that sucks. Last but not least, guys, here, Duck the Pierce very close to the list, but just barely didn't make it. I still have Iron Bronco on the list. There's just something really special about increased defense for 3 turns on a 3-turn cooldown with the freaking stun as well. 2-turn stun if the target's under 2 or more buffs. It's a great ability. 3-turn cooldown, and then an AoE provoke. It's a 3-turn cooldown. It is a 75% chance, but the cool thing is like it deals a lot of damage. This dude is a great defense-based nuker for PvE content, on top of having increased defense up all the time. I still have Iron Brago in my top 100. It seems like people are starting to talk less and less about him. Maybe it's just people moving more towards unkillable, where increased defense and clan boss and stuff is a little bit less essential as it once was. All right, guys, next up is going to be, that's it for my orcs. Not a ton of orcs. Now we go on to Demonspawn, guys. All right, so obviously Duchess. I mean, it's Duchess. We got the block debuffs, the increase attack, the perfect veil. Really a top 5-10 champion in the game. An AoE revival, really one of the better AoE revivals. I put this up with Ursula the Mourner, like back when we started this video. Very, very good. Continuous heal, 70% HP. It's a great ability. And then the Ethereal Waves mitigating damage on AoE attacks by 25%, 15 from bosses. Speed in all battles. She's still got it in a big, big, big way. Helicath, man. Whew. One of the best champions in the game, for my money. I would probably put him top 10 just because of his use case. Amazing in the arena. He has the block damage and then counterattacking every time someone's attacked while under the block damage, right? So good for like anti-Taurus and stuff like that, you know? And when he's going in on those attacks, he is ignoring shield and block damage. So ironically, he's like a counter to himself in the arena as well. Deals a lot of damage on this A1 as a big version of Weaken while we're at it. He also has a great shield based on defense, a la a Valkyrie. I mean, this guy's amazing. I was just using him in Nether Spider. I use him on my arena teams. I use him on my freaking Clan Boss unkillable team. I use him in Iron Twins, and that's why I rank him so high. I mean, he's so good in all those areas, but just the fact that he's used in all those areas, and you can use him pretty much in any dungeon or against most Doom Tower bosses, his versatility to me is what just absolutely skyrockets him. What a great champ. All right, guys, this one was very close. I was on edge with whether I should put him or not, but I included him. It's Hefrak. Just a really special nuker. I love that he brings a self buff, increased crit rate, increased attack, extra turn, and then deals a ton of damage with an extra hit on this ability. But the real magic, as you guys know, is whenever anybody else is killed, sometimes you see the Hefrak cheese teams where he's in Stone Skin, and then you put like a food champion with him, and they kill the food, and he just wipes out everybody. It's not even putting the skill on cooldown. So even if before he goes, somebody dies, he instantly activates the Heffrax score and he probably kills everybody. If he doesn't, you still self-buff and come right back into it. It's a really special nuker, really cool nuker. One of my personal faves. Prince Kaimar, guys, of course. I mean, I think he's a top 10 champion inside the game. I said that for a long time, and I still believe it. Seal of Magic, similar to Helicath, right? It's a champion who can be used in so many different areas of the game. He can be used in Seer reset teams. He can be used in the arena because of Abyssal Gaze, opening up, removing buffs, and placing a sleep on everybody. He can be used in Dragon with the poison on the A1. He can be used really almost everywhere and anywhere. He's just so good and so special. Speed, aura for arena battles as well. I think my second favorite HP burner in the entire game is Sissia Flametongue. She has the burn with the extra turn, and then she has the instant activation. Really one of the best, if not the best, one of the best overall spider champions in the game. But then, again, you can use her anywhere else that you need a really good burner, instant activator. Obviously, her claim to fame, again, is spider, but really can deal a lot of damage against Hydra. And I use her on, like, my third Hydra team because she's also bringing weaken and a decreased defense provided they're under burn. So she can also play a dual role as your debuffer, which I really love about that champion. Next up is going to be Tyrant. Yeah, man, Tyrant's really good. He's got increased defense and ally protect on a 3-turn cooldown. We talked about Koragar having a strengthen and an ally protect. He's got, you know, almost as good, arguably better, depending on what you need and who's on your team, right? Have a bunch of defense-based champions. The increased defense is even better, right? Getting more damage at the same time. Very, very good support there. Then he's got a burn for 3 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. Defense-based champion. He's still got it. Really, really like this champion. I pulled Tyrant Ixlamore really late into my, you know, my lifespan as a raid player, and boy, was I not let down. I actually have Drexstar still clinging on as well. Farmable champion, right? Anybody can get him from the clan shop. And really, he's got the AoE provoke, you know, 60% chance, not the best in the world, but still, he does have that nice AoE provoke. He's got the heal, which is really good on this A1 triple hitter as well. And then that HP burn on the passive just makes him so good against so many Doom Tower bosses. He can, like, solo a bunch of content, especially as well. So I still include Drexstar for his supreme utility inside the game. I do have a Lure on the list, of course. One of the better control champions inside the entire game. Triple hitter on that A1 with the decreased target's turn rate by 25%. I mean, we joked about it with Royal Guard or whatever on his A3. Nothing, no control is like this on Allure. For me, you know, one of the best Fire Knight champions, if not the best, inside the entire game. Fire Knight normal, excuse me. Dark Fae, again, anywhere you want control. I used to run a double Allure Dark Fae team. Very, very good champion. Also brings an AoE with a weak version of decreased defense if you don't have another champion on your team. There's some really good epics here. And again, maybe I'm a little biased on this one. I will admit it. It comes down, I was so close on this one. Who do I want to go with? It was between Magnar for me and Fellhound. Fellhound is the best campaign farmer in the game. So just for that, like, I think he might deserve a nod. You know what? It's my video. I make the rules. Let's just call it a two-way tie. How about that? Boom. Fellhound, best campaign farmer in the game. The only knock on Fellhound is, and it's not even a knock, it's just that, like, Saurus and Bellower and, like, Queen Ava, they're all, like, within a second or so of Fellhound, you know? Fellhound, because of his animations, can be a second faster. But either way, Magnar. I love this dude, man. He's got that double hitter on percussive pound that's really, even including legendaries, right? He's one of the hardest hitting HP nukers in the game. He also has kind of a nifty debuff spread on the A3, which is actually comes in handy for Doom Tower wave content. Like, he always surprises me. I shouldn't be surprised anymore, but he always does in terms of his damage compared to legendaries when I use him in, like, a secret room or something like that. So I include Magnar on the list. Next up is going to be Siphi. We're going to the Undead Hordes, where we have the most champions in Undead Horde. Siphi the Lost Bride, obviously, guys. I mean, look at that speed. Block debuffs, increased defense, increased speed. We also have a turn meter filled by 10% snuck into this ability. We have the unresistible sleep, which is just one of the best controls for the arena in the game. I mean, I think people recognize how good this is, this ability, but the irresistible sleep at 100% clip, if the turn meter is equal to or above 50, is it's just next level control. It's just so good. You can really, if you play a lot of live arena and you go against a lot of Siffies or you have a Siffy, you know what I'm talking about. You can sometimes control the match such that the enemy team can't even do anything at all, you know, if you get to that point in the match. She's great in like kind of the end game of an arena match, like the end portion of it. Anyway, in the beginning, for that matter, right? She has the revival with a full turn meter. She's got the passive that is amazing as well, especially when paired with Rotos. So yeah, we love Siffy, obviously. I still have BEK. A lot of people say he's been power crept. I don't necessarily disagree, but for me, he's still in the top 100 easily. He's got a cleanse, a continuous heal for 2 turns, and our 2 continuous heals for 2 turns, excuse me. It's a lot of healing. And then 2 poisons on all enemies. It's just, Malice is still one of the better abilities inside the entire game. I think for my money, you got heal, you got damage, you got cleanse. And then we have more damage against targets under poison as well. AoE heal, small one on the A1. Next up is going to be Mashald. Where are you? There you go. Come on down, Mashald. He's got the AoE if they're under leech, which he has on a 2-turn cooldown. He has it on a 3, but then we get the extra turn, ergo reducing that cooldown. It's an amazing ability. Used to be the worst legendary in the game. Now he's certainly, well, he's in the top 100, right? He's got an increased speed, increased crit damage on all allies. Increased speed is amazing for everybody. Increased crit damage is definitely a great, it's not a must-have, but it's a nice-to-have buff to have, especially for your nukers, obviously. True Fear and Leech on all enemies, no big deal. Just throwing the True Fear at everybody like it's an add-on ability. And then he's got a good A3 as well. Healing himself, stealing all buffs from the target. Amazing for Hydra Clan Boss, but really, I have him on my mini account. He's amazing for progression, just period, in the game. Great for Hydra, even in the end game. All right, we have Nekret the Great, obviously, on the list. One of the better arena champions in the game, but really, you can use this guy in a lot of different areas. I use him, I don't use him anymore. I think I might have changed like a Ferric in the Fat, ironically, right? But I used him as an ally attack guy in areas where, you know, my team just wasn't getting it done, you know? They were just wiping out against the Griffin or whatever, you know, a little bit late into the Doom Tower hard cycle. So I used him. Eventually, I was able to build my champions a little bit more survivability where I was able to replace him for more damage. But in the arena, he's just amazing. And it's really because of the block debuff, strengthen, and ally protect for 6 turns that can't be removed at the start of a turn. It allows you to protect the weakest individual, aka your nuker usually, on your team in the arena, right? So, and you don't have to worry about an immunity set or anything like that. He has block debuffs, right? So of course it can be removed, but it's still amazing. He has an ally attack, an extra turn mechanic in his kit as well. He has this great support ability, just a really, really good champion overall. Next up, we have Rotos. I said there was 2 single target champions on the list. The other guy I was thinking of is obviously Rotos the Lost Groom. Just insanely good nuker, insanely good S-tier, SS tier. Build him with a lot of HP, put him in Savage Lethal, and just watch him destroy everybody. You get an extra turn if Fade Destruction kills somebody. You can power him up by destroying their max HP and giving it to Rotos. Then you have an extra turn mechanic on his A1 as well. Maybe not the easiest champion to build because you need HP and attack, and his HP is very low, but definitely will reward you if you do build Rotos. What a champion, seriously. Next up, just taking a quick break from the legendaries for a moment, we have Vogoth, absolutely on the list, one of my favorite healers in the game. I put him in a curing set. I use him, I mean, you can use this guy, again, you can use him against any boss. Baumel, Nether Spider, right? He's gonna keep your team healed. You're taking a lot of damage, right? Those bombs, obviously, those mini bombs blowing up, you know? And then, of course, in the arena on a Go Second team, he's healing everybody, 50% of the damage received every time. He's got a leech on the attacker. He's got an AoE provoke. He's got a triple hitter on his A1, good for Fire Knight as well, right? For a support Fire Knight champion. Very, 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 very good champion. We also have Seeker on the list, man. How could I not include Seeker? Seriously. Great for the arena. He's got the increased defense when he's hit with a critical hit. Great ability, right? He's got the turn meter boost with the extra turn, 30% increase attack, set up your nukers if you don't have Arbiter, right? Go in there, provoke an enemy while you're at it after the extra turn. But of course, he's such an essential part of unkillable teams and Demon Lord Clan Boss that for me, I mean, so many Bat Eaters, Batman, Bat whatever the heck comps that I had to include Seeker. Very, very special epic champion inside the game. And then I have a third epic on the list. I am still unabashedly a massive, 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 massive fan of none other than Mausoleum Mage. Dude, he's got a really good kit. Increased crit rate, increased defense, block debuffs on a 3-turn cooldown, and then a full cleanse and a great heal and turn meter fill by 15% or if 2 or more debuffs are removed from that ally. Oof. He's bringing so much to the table. Also a decreased speed while we're at it on the A1, 50% land rate, not bad. I just think he's one of the best supports still to this day out of all the epic champions out there in the game. Hey, the newbie, I really wanted this guy, man. I pulled for him on a 10X. Valkanen! What a cool champion. It's a very long kit. I'm not going to read it all, but he's got an AoE, deals single target damage to each target individually rather than AoE, which is very interesting, which will, like, against like a Duchess, for example, it's not going to be considered an AoE attack, so it won't mitigate that damage. Kind of interesting. It has other implications as well. He's placing a Hex. He's ignoring enemy resistance as well. He's got... I mean, you guys can read it, but it's freaking cool. It's going to be a 2-hour-long video if I read the entire kit. Wow, dude. No one has more text than this dude does. Look at this. I mean, there's a drop-down menu. Good God. I'm just going to say that I really like this champion. Really want him. How about that? Probably the worst review that we've done out of any champion so far in the video. I apologize. Ultimate Death Knight! Dude, how can I not put the champion that's used the most in the game on the list? Seriously. I see this dude on every arena team, to my annoyance. Everywhere. Everywhere. Top players, mid-layer, like, I'll go on my main account, top arena, everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people running the Ultimate Death Knight. Go to my mini account, take a break, everybody running Ultimate Death Knight. It's like, okay, dude, I get it. He's great in arena because of the Too Awesome to Die, but then again, he can solo content with Didn't Need Him. Insane passive, really good champion. I run him on my mini account to like carry a lot of my dungeon teams. So yeah, definitely belongs on the list in my opinion. Who else are we missing here, guys? I have 2 more on the list, and these ones are gonna be, I don't know, controversial is the right word, but some of you might disagree. I have Nephalem on the list, right? He's slow, needs a speed boost, kind of like the Martyr category, right? Got a triple hitter with all these poisons on the A1. He's got an AoE with a... By the way, back in the day, this is like an insane ability for a clan boss. Now, a little power crept. But I include him on the list because he's got an AoE stun or decreased speed, right? Really good control there, and then even better control in Bat Swarm. Another AoE with turn meter depletion by 75%. Eat that, Eligius. What do you have? A nice little 20% turn meter on a 4-turn? Oh, cute. Cute. So I have Nephalem and Euros the Soul Cage. Man, I've got a real big soft spot for the big fella. A lot of people really hate on this dude. I don't understand it. I really don't. First of all, one of the best solo content champions out there in the game. He can solo Scarab King, which is an annoying boss to deal with otherwise. You don't have to worry about destroy gear or anything like that. He can solo a bunch of other content, put him in regen and immortal like I do, and like he is my cheat code to, it feels like, 3 or whatever Doom Tower bosses. We also have poison. So he's putting poison on the attacker every single turn. Whenever an ally is attacked under a strengthen, he's placing a provoke on them, which makes him one of the better provokers. Believe it or not, guys, in top 200 live arena, of swimming with the Krakens, I've seen a few people use this dude, draft this dude, right? Because he's throwing out provokes, he's tough to kill, he's got strengthen and ally protect on all allies. Again, we talked about this, right? Strengthen, ally, protect, Korrigar, right? It's like a 2-way tie for one of the best damage mitigators. And then he's got an AoE attack, decreasing turn meter by 15% on enemies under 1 or more poison, which is usually the case. He's placing a decreased speed on enemies under 2 poisons, and then a stun on enemies under 3 poisons. And then he's got a shield on the A1. Very cool champion. I really like this guy. Really, you can run him anywhere. Great damage mitigator, great solo champion, really good kit. I think a lot of people kind of sleep on him. Okay, Dark Elf time. Champion number 75 on the list is Lydia, or 76 on the list. Lydia, the Death Siren. She's got the decreased defense. She got the weaken. She got the strengthen. She got the increased speed, all in the same ability. Arguably one of the best abilities in the game is Siren's Wail. She got the poison sensitivity, block debuffs, block active skills, and then the deny revival attempts on the passive. Very worthy of being the Faction Wars, reward champion. Like, it's a really juicy reward that everybody ought to get excited about. Lydia, she's amazing. She's amazing. You can use her everywhere. Same thing with Mithrala, Lifebane, one of the better arena champions in the game because she's converting her accuracy to extra resistance. You can't land a freaking debuff on her, which is amazing because she's got the cleanse, she got the shield, she got the strengthen, she got the increased defense, she got the increased attack, she got the hex on everybody, she got petrification on everybody. Whew. She got control. She got every buff known to woman.
What do you mean by that?
I mean,
Please don't hit me.
all right, we got Dark Kale, guys. Instant activations of poisons and or HP burns on the A1 on a triple hitter. Really good for speed runs. I use Kale on my Eleanoril poison teams, right? So we go through the waves, we place all the poisons, and by the way, he's bringing an AoE with increase the duration of all debuffs on the target, and then he has 3 poisons and a poison sensitivity on his A3, so great for bosses, and he can help increasing duration along the waves too. But once we actually get to the boss, he's placing all these poisons, points of sensitivity, and then he's going in there. We'll do the combust on wave 1, wave 2, and then he'll go in there and instant activate and be my damage carry against the actual boss of the dungeon, So I love Dark Kale, definitely belongs on the list. And then we have, of course, Cold Heart. Is she the only rare on the list, on the top 100 champions? I think so, but she's amazing. Quadruple hitter on the A1. She got the A2, not bad damage, AoE attack, and then the 100% turn meter decrease and about 1 million, 2 million damage, depending on where you're using her, right? A ton of damage, enemy max HP. Oh boy, what I wouldn't do for another rare as anywhere near as good as Cold Heart to be released inside the game. Absolutely love that champion, guys. But I am not done. This one might be a little controversial, ladies and gentlemen. It is Vizix. She's a free champion. We talked about this earlier, right? Free champions, sometimes they don't get a lot of cred. They deserve cred, though. She sucked. And then she got a really, really, really nice buff. I know, and I'm putting her on the list because I just built her on my mini account. And boy, is she a game changer for me, where I am. She has turn meter decrease on the A1, filling her turn meter. Defense-based champion with a lot of defense. An AoE 3-turn cooldown, decreased speed. Ally protect on all allies. Again, all a 3-turn cooldown. And then another AoE provoke and a shield on herself to help keep her alive because she needs it. It's a great control. Great speed manipulation, great damage mitigation. She brings so much to the table for one champion. Turn meter fill as well. I think the Vizix, not a top 10 champion or anything like that, but I do think that she is good enough to justify a top 100 spot in the game. What about you guys? All right. We're at 81. Theodore the Savant, of course, man. One of the ultimate speed runners in the game. And AoE, decreased speed on the A1, 50% land rate, really good. It makes him viable for Hydra as well. Of course, he's known for Spider. He's known for speed running any dungeon in the game. A lot of Fire Knight usage of him. And you don't see a lot of one-hitters on the A1, albeit in AoE, on Fire Knight champions, but you certainly see Theodore because he's that good. And he's bringing increased speed on everybody on a 3-turn cooldown. I get choked up when I talk about Theodore, man. 2 poisons on everybody and poison sensitivity, then instantly activating poisons and HV burns. I mean, insanely good champion. What else do you want from me? What do you? One of the most wanted champions in the game for players out there. We have Nutcracker. Very special champion, one of the best nukers in the game, if not the best attack-based nuker in the game. You could definitely make that argument. He is a single hitter that ignores Stone Skin that actually does damage. I'm looking at you, Allele. And then everything else. Extra turn if you kill an enemy, which you usually do because ton of damage, ignoring potentially 100% of target's defense. His passive, this is what makes him really special, right? This is what allows him to do insane 200k plus damage on these A3s, is because he's a 50% chance of ignoring 50% of target's defense for each hit placed by this champion. That adds up to 100%. If we get that to proc with lethal, we talked about it with Baron, with lethal, with Savage, plus Helm Smasher, plus this, We can ignore 100% of defense. He comes in March of 10. It smacks. Decreased target's turn meter that cannot be resisted. Unkillable if you kill an enemy. Very, 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 very good nuker. I still don't have Calvalax. I wish I did, man. Very good champion. AoE damage, or AoE more damage for poisons. Extra hit for poisons on the A2, but it's really about this passive. 4 poisons on all enemies for 2 turns at the start of each round. Oh my god. Has a 50% chance of placing a poison debuff on all enemies at this, for 1 turn at the start of each turn. I mean, and then he has continuous heals. One of the best poison setup men in the entire game. I talked about my, Sissio was my second favorite nuker in the game. I'm sorry, HP burner in the game, my bad. Well, you guys know, Walking Tomb Dragon is my favorite burner in the game, and it's not even close. I love this dude. He's my main carry in, he farms stage 25 along with Godseeker and Neri in a 2-person team on Stand Devil 25 for me. I use him in Ice Golem hard. I use him anywhere that I need, well, the best burner out there, right? Frostbiter, you name it, right? He's got an HP burn that can't be resisted on a 3-turn cooldown. He power crept the heck out of Ignatius, you know? He has it on, what, a 5-turn cooldown that can't be resisted? He's got it on a 3, but then on top of that, he's got this great heal ability, and then he's got the instant activation that cannot be resisted on the A1. It's not intuitive from reading his kit. You would never know that it cannot be resisted. You never know that it doesn't require accuracy, but it doesn't, you know? So he's instantly activated. It's not a 30% chance of instantly activating. It's a 100% chance of instantly activating. Jeez, man. Such a good champion, dude. I love that guy. Shocked at this one, guys. Both Walking Tomb Dragon and Tomb Lord, who's on my list, weren't on the other top 100 list. Both of these champions were snubbed, in my opinion. You guys let me know if you agree or disagree. Tomb Lord is so good. So good. He might be, at least from the circles that I run in, the raid circles that I run in, no one talks about Tomb Lord as one of the better champions out there. I think he really is. I mean, any dungeon, he's on my Fire Knight team, but he could be on like every team. Decreased speed, 100%, right? As long as the attack is critical on his A1. That's amazing. Amazing start there, right? Fantastic for Fire Knight especially. And then a 2 poisons on all enemies on a 3-turn cooldown, but 4 as long as the attack is critical. 4 poisons on everybody. What? And then we have a turn meter decrease, a decreased attack, and a decreased defense. Grants the extra turn of enemies' turn meters decrease by this skill. Very good. Only downside is a 4-turn cooldown and some conditionality in there, but boy, is it an amazing ability. Plus, if you get the extra turn, it goes down to 3-turn anyway. Oh man, Tomb Lord, I can't believe they buffed him about a year or 2 ago. Oh, he's so freaking good. Dwarf time. I think probably the best champion in the game in terms of if I could start an account with any champion, it would be Acresia. Enemy max HP on every single ability. What more do you want from me? There you go. That's it. She's easy to build too, because if target's max HP is more than double this champion's max HP, which is always the case on bosses, obviously, and you're not going to be using her in PvP, you know, and she's not an arena champion, this champion's attacks will deal a damage based on the target's max HP instead of this champion's attack. So whenever you see her attack factored in, you can basically ignore it. Just build her with a lot of HP, and she's going to smack. Best damage dealer in the game for PvE content, in my opinion. Let's talk about the obvious best epic in the game, or certainly up there in the conversation in Geomancer. AoE with decreased accuracy on the A1 makes him really nice for a Hydra Clan boss, for example. We have the fully depletes target's turn meter, places a burn and a weaken for 3 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. Master Hexer, sometimes you're getting 4 turns on these abilities, but of course it all comes together with this amazing Stone Guard passive. It makes him one of the best damage dealers. I run him in Iron Twins, I run him in Sand Devil, I run him in Hydra Clan boss. You can run him everywhere. I run him in a Phantom Shogun. He's so good as a damage dealer with his passive and synergy with the A3. Really could be the best. I think he's the best epic in the game. 94 base speed, still the best epic in the game. All right, next up is going to be Nut, or Newt, as they call him in Call of the Arbiter.
Newt, will you answer the call?
My man's a nut, right? Dude, this enemy max HP ability is the hardest hitting in the game. No ability in this game. Step aside Septimus, right? No ability in this game. No ability in the game. Even Acresia's A3. Of course, you put the whole kit together. Of course, you can outdamage him. but nothing can deal more damage than Blessed Bash. Blessed or blessed? Blessed sounds better to me. Yeah, I mean, what can I say? It does so much damage. It's just sick, it's disgusting, and it's amazing if you have him. He has counterattack on himself as well, a triple hitter, decreased target's turn meter. He has a freeze, which makes him one of the best Fire Knight champions in the game for Fire Knight Hard. When counterattacking, he's dealing full damage. He's amazing. Next up, Baragni. Talk about good fusions. Old school fusion, kind of, getting to be old school now. He's got the shield. And then he's got the Grow Shield ability, which makes him parts of the affinity, or makes him a part, excuse me, the most essential part of, well, I guess with Corpulent Cadaver, of the best clan boss team in the world record-setting team. He's got block debuffs, he's got increased attack as well. He's bringing the shield to the table. He's got an HP burn on the A1. He's got more damage on the passive with that shield reflect synergy. Really, really, really good champion. You can use this dude almost anywhere. Of course, claim to fame is Hydra, but you can use him in the arena. You can use him for progression. You can use him, heck, even in... Did I say Hydra or did I say Demon Lord? Demon Lord is claim to fame. You could use him in Hydra if you wanted to. Anyway, next up is Demitha. Demitha, really one of the better epics out there in the game, truthfully, guys. She's got to increase the duration of all ally buffs, decrease the duration of all debuffs, and then she got the heal. I mean, really, really, really good ability, but of course she's known for the block damage on the free turn cooldown with another continuous heal. So you've got like one of the better epic healers in the game with one of the best block damage champions in the game. I use her in Clan Boss. That's the only place that I use her, in the game right now, but really, this Light of the Deep ability, you can get so much utility out of her, depending on what you need her, especially if you don't have any other champion that has that ability, like a Godseeker or something like that, or Sandlashed, or a Krisk. All right, next up is going to be Molly. I talked about her earlier, guys. Molly's so freaking good, not just for Arena, where she's known to have a 2-turn provoke, 50% chance of a 2-turn provoke. She also revives, and she also has Rowdy Crowd. Ooh, this is a juicy one. Fills a turn meter of all allies by 15% when she's hit. Turn meter of all allies by 25% when she's hit by a boss. This passive, on a 1-turn cooldown, with the provoke, makes her, in my mind... as I said earlier, the best Hydra provoker in the game. But really, I think that, to be honest with you guys, I didn't use her right away for Hydra. I've told this story before, so I apologize for repeating it, but I didn't use her for Hydra and for a long time, you know? And then what the issue was is I was like, I don't need just a provoker who's not bringing that much damage to the table. I don't need that, you know? Sure, she has a revive, which is nice, but it's not enough, you know? And I just underestimated Rowdy Crowd of this 25% turn meter of all allies when she's hit. I mean, it makes your team so much better. If you don't believe me, you have Molly, you're lucky enough to have her, and you don't run her in Hydra, just sub her in for whoever your provoker is, and you're not going to be disappointed. Next up is Trunda. People say that Trunda fell off. She's still one of the best damage dealers in the game. She can be amazing in Spider with the burn if you want to. I build her with low accuracy, get a double hit instead. Great arena nuker on a go first team. Cloak of Age is one of the best abilities in the game in terms of hardest hitting abilities in the game. One of the best damage dealing abilities to Hydra Clan Boss when they're decapitated. We're talking like she can score like millions and millions and millions and millions of damage. So where she's fallen off a little bit in the arena, I think that she's made that up for in Hydra Clan Boss. This was tough. It was between Herndig and Tormund for me, but you guys know me. I'm an old school guy. I think that Tormund, the Cold, is... I've said this before, like recently on the channel, but I think that he's like so slept on. He used to be probably a top 10 champion. Everybody talked about Tormund. Everybody complained about Tormund all the time. He got to nerf, the meta changed a little bit, but he's still so good. He deals a lot of damage for a defense-based champion. He's got an AoE with a freeze on his A1. He's removing all buffs from a target on his A2. He's got another AoE with a block buffs and heal reduction on targets under freeze, which he has on his passive. He's got a provoke at an 80% clip on targets not under freeze. So now we got good control here. He's decreasing the cooldown of one random skill on each ally for every enemy attacked under freeze and burn. If you can set that up, you can do amazing things. He's got that great freeze on the passive. He's got the auto revive on himself. Is he a top 50 champion? I don't think so anymore, but I do think he's still a top 100 champion. I really love, sometimes, like, you'll go into the arena and be like, okay, I can't beat this team. What should I do? If you're anything like me, sometimes if you lose an arena match, you get a little bit of revenge in you, and you're like, okay, it's a matter of pride. I'm going to go in there until I figure it out. Sometimes, if you have Tormund, like, it's just like, oh yeah, I should just play Tormund and it'll be easy win, you know? Sometimes. All right, Shadowkin, Yumeko. We talked about with Warlord, but this ability, I mean, I say it all the time, but it's true. It's like it's like some Kymar and some Warlord, two of the better champions in the game, and you stick it together and you have Dance of Time. That means you can use her in the arena like a Warlord, putting the opponent's skills on cooldown, but you can also use her like a Kymar, resetting a Seer, resetting an Eleanor, resetting like any speed farming champion. Very good. And then she has this Hex, Destiny's Mirror. It's a great ability. It's placing the Hex and is deflecting debuffs back to the attacker if they're under Hex. It's amazing against Baumel. You can throw those bombs right back to Baumel, right? And then a perfect veil at the start of each turn. She's immune to debuffs when she's under the veil. Really one of the better champions out there inside the entire game. Oh man, you guys know how much I love Harima. She's my favorite arena champion in the game. She's my favorite. I'm drafting Harima first every time in live arena, because I don't want the other people to draft her. I'm in gold where you can't do duplicate choices. Increasing her defense, a hard-hitting ability. If you kill them, it instantly activates her very hard-hitting AoE with a provoke on the 3-turn cooldown. Celestial Awe does so much damage, and then where enemy ignored defense effects are decreased by 50%. That applies to the entire team. It's so good. It's just like one of the best support abilities on a nuker in the game for PvP content out there. I love her. I love her. I put Kyoku on the list because I still think she's the queen of tanks. She got the ally protect and the block damage and extra turn. She's so annoying to go against because, I mean, she's mitigating damage. You want to kill her, but you can't kill her. She's got block damage for 3 turns. Really, really, really good ability here on that. Her A2 is okay. Her A1's okay. She does have this great, kind of like a very similar to Seeker's passive. Every time she's hit with a critical hit, she heals all allies and then plays an increased defense on them for 2 turns, right? So really good ability here. I really like this champion, right? She'll place 3 hits if the target's under 3 or more debuffs on the A1 too. Sneaky good champion for Fire Knight as well. I really like Kyoku. Next up is, of course, Lady Kimmy. I mean, you guys know my love for Lady Kimmy. She's got basically her kit is beautiful synergy. She's very fast, 115 base speed, great base stats, and AoE decrease accuracy, decrease speed, decrease turn meter on the A2, 3-turn cooldown. And then she's placing the buffs. She's got to block buffs on enemies, right, who have buffs removed. She's removing buffs. It's on a 4-turn cooldown. But then she's filling turn meter of allies, increase accuracy, increase speed in all allies. She's doing so much. She got the turn meter fill for each debuff place as well. She's got a turn meter fill for every ally when they receive a debuff. Turn meter galore. She's kind of like, she's got a little bit of the Nekmothar vibes, just in the sense that she just keeps going and going with all those turn meters. You pick up Arcane Celerity and Rapid Response, and like she's going nuts, man. She's going nuts with the turn meter. It's really special. It's really cool. Michinaki, I mentioned him earlier as like one of my most wanted, or I have him, but he would be one of my most wanted Hydra champions in the game, probably right after Acrisia. He's that good. Decreased defense on an AoE, decreased attack if they're under Hex. He does have Hex, but he has a 2-time hitter. First hit is removing all buffs, and the second hit, he's placing the Hex. Now look at this. Whenever an ally attacks an enemy under Hex, he is joining the attack, thus 60% chance or 65 with Sniper Mastery to place an HP burn. Ooh, 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 ooh. He can deal some serious damage. He's a debuffer with the decreased defense. He's got all the burns. He's removing all buffs. Michinaki is a very special champion, ladies and gentlemen. One of my faves. Ninja. Hailburn. He's not only placing the burn. The reason he's so good and the reason that he's still unmatched even with Chronum and stuff like that is he's got the triple hitter, 100% chance of placing the burn. Each hit has the burn, right? And then he's instantly activating the burns on the same skill, including HP burns placed by this skill. It's just so good. Of course, he's got the AoE freeze on top of that. Very good control champion, very good damage champion in PvE content. Of course, Rio Bone Spear is on the list, guys. You got every debuff known to man to a single target, including stun. Some decent damage on that ability too. Really good. Continuous heal on the A1, and then perfect body, just one of the better abilities out there in the game. She's got, when receiving any debuffs, instantly transfers them back to the attacker. It is on a 3-turn cooldown, but it's a really nice one to have. A cleanse, a block debuffs, and a great heal. All on a 3-turn cooldown. Okay. I do have one, this might be controversial. I don't know how you guys feel about this. Maybe I have something for champions that have a poison on their passive. Euros to Soul Cage, right? When attacked, he's placing a poison on the passive. Great against clan boss, obviously, but really good as a support champion anywhere. I think he's the only epic champion in the game with a big version of Ally Protect on a 3-turn cooldown. I could be wrong there, but none others come to mind. There's got to be, though. But he also has a shield as well, and a good heal, right? So he's bringing a lot there. He also has an AoE provoke, 50% chance, but it's a 5% for each debuff on the enemy team. So he can control, he can support, he can poison on the passive, he can deal damage. He's got the big version of decreased attack on the A1. He's got good base stats. Man, Frogman. I think people sleep on the Frogman. Don't give him the credit he's due. All right, I only have 3 here in the Sylvan Watchers. Really close to including Naya. I love Croydian, but they didn't make the list. But you know who did, guys? Good old Elva. She's got a 3-turn revive, right? Really good ability, increased defense, increased attack on that ally as well. She's got the heal on the passive every single time, a la like a Siphi, a la a Scylla the Drakes. And then she's got this amazing A2 with a cleanse, block debuffs, and increased speed, all on a 3-turn cooldown. Very good. This continuous heal is exceptionally good on the A1. Great for support. She's serviceable in the arena, a beast at Faction Wars. Great for Ice Golem areas like that. She's just one of the better support revivers, cleansers inside the game. We have King Galkabar is champion number 99. King Galkabar has an AoE attack, removing all buffs, placing poisons for every buff removed on them, right? And then a block buffs, all on a 3-turn cooldown. That is criminally good. And then we have the cleanse, continuous heals for each debuff removed. You go against like the dragon and you remove like 6 poisons on every ally. My man here is putting up 6 continuous heals on everybody. Also plays a shield on all allies. Might as well while you're at it. This is on a 3-turn cooldown too. The books go right to the cooldown. And then whenever an enemy under a poison debuff attacks an ally under a shield, it instantly activates a poison and then instantly activates a continuous heal. Whew. That is a very, very good kit. People sleep on King Galkabar. Very good. Last but not least, guys, is going to be the new fusion champion that's not in the game right now. It is Emic Trunkheart. Unfortunately, again, not in the game at the time of this recording, but that will conclude the list, guys. Thank you for sticking around for an hour and 20 minutes, and apologies to my editor for putting him through this madness. Much love, guys. Let me know what you think of my list, and as always, take care.